In this episode of PulsePoint, we'll update you on these topics. More than 400 plus children changed sex on passports since 2015. New Zealand Herald features a 7-year-old in stilettos pushing the transgender for children ideology. Chloe Cole, a detransitioner, is speaking out why she is voting for Trump. Instagram makes teen accounts private. And finally, Kamala Harris comes under fire for spreading misinformation regarding the recent death of a young woman in Georgia named Amber Thurman. Welcome to PulsePoint, the latest media stories and research related to family and society that you need to know about. It's time to cut through the spin and uncover the real issues. I'm Tambi Stowers. More than 400 children have changed the sex on their passports since 2015, including almost 300 children 15 years or younger. Now, under the Passports Act 1992, 16 to 17-year-olds do not require parental or guardian consent. Almost 2,000 people in total have changed their passports to their self-identified gender in the past decade. Now, this is according to Official Information Act data gained by Family First from the Department of Internal Affairs. Demand for females to be recognized as male was more common amongst children than male to female, but male to female was more common for non-teens. There has also been growth in adopting an X, gender diverse, in the past 3 years, with a doubling just in the past 8 months for non-teens. Young children have also changed to X in the past couple of years. Now, there's also no limit to the number of times you can change a gender on your passport, as it can be changed when the passport is renewed. Now, ironically, you can reapply to revert to the sex recorded at birth. And according to the government, while New Zealand recognizes gender X on passports, other international travel authorization systems and e-gates may not. So as a result, citizens may still be asked to label their gender as either male or female when traveling. Data gathered by The Economist shows that only 16 countries have a third gender option on their passports, including Argentina, Austria, Australia, Canada, Colombia, Denmark, Germany, Iceland, Ireland, Malta, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Pakistan, India, and Nepal. Now, it is evidence of a confused culture when it can't even recognize biological facts when it comes to international travel documents. It is also of great concern when Kiwi children are being dragged into the confusion. Fortunately, the majority of the world is still sticking with truth. Last week, we saw a very good example of what happens when we push back against radical and anti-family agendas in the media. The New Zealand Herald, in a specifically child-focused section of the newspaper called Kia Kids, featured a 7-year-old child in stilettos pushing the transgender for children ideology, along with some twerking. Now, please note, this is not about the children in this video. It's about the adults, the producers, the parents, and the New Zealand Herald who think they should push this. Have a watch of these 2 short clips.
Well, yes, I did, because I was like,
Here is the second clip. Remember, this is being targeted at children. The good news is that the outcry against the clip was so strong that the video has been removed by the New Zealand Herald, and rightly so. It should never have been created in the first place. It's a good reminder of what happens when we push back. Detransitioner Chloe Cole, who spoke at our conference in July this year, has released a short video explaining why she's voting for Donald Trump. Have a watch.
I was 12 years old. Doctors led me to believe that I was transgender. I was told that puberty blockers, hormones, and surgeries were my only options. They were wrong. Now, I suffer from irreversible changes to my body and mind that I will live with for the rest of my life. Today, Kamala Harris is pushing children into these procedures, limiting their choices later on in life. That's why I'm voting for Donald Trump, because he's committed to protecting children from these rash decisions.
Now, given what had happened to her in California, nobody should be surprised by her decision. Here is Chloe Cole talking at the Forum on the Family this year, explaining what happened.
Now, I'm from the Central Valley of California. I am a detransitioner and a formerly trans-identified teen who went through the process of socially and medically transitioning from my female sex to a male identity and back to my birth self between the ages of 12 to 16. I went through the medical process starting at 13 with puberty suppressants, testosterone, and at 15 years old, I underwent a radical double mastectomy to remove both of my breasts surgically and permanently. And at 16, I realized that I wanted to be a wife one day. I wanted to have children of my own naturally. And that transitioning, no matter what drugs I took or no matter what surgeries were performed on me, I never actually would become a man. And I also realized that being female wasn't a burden. It was a strength, and it was something that I wanted to embrace.
Kamala is a real and dangerous threat to both the born and the unborn child. Instagram is introducing what it calls Instagram teen accounts, with the privacy measures being made to reassure parents that teens are having safe experience with the built-in protections on automatically. Have a watch.
Introducing Instagram teen accounts. Automatic protections for teens, with built-in limits for who can contact them and the content they can see, helping teens safely connect to the people and things that matter most. Plus, teens under 16 require parental approval to change safety settings. New Instagram teen accounts. Automatic protections for who can contact them and the content they can see.
The National Center on Sexual Exploitation, which has been critical of Instagram's lack of protections for minors in the past, said this: Instagram is the #1 platform where sextortion happens. It is being used by millions of teens worldwide. 68% of US teens 15 to 17 and 59% of teens 13 to 17 say they use Instagram. Now, all these children are better protected from sexual exploitation. This is a very good news statement from social media, a very positive development. And finally, Democrat presidential nominee Kamala Harris has come under fire for spreading misinformation online regarding the recent death of a young woman in Georgia named Amber Thurman from abortion pills. In a post on X, Harris falsely blamed her opponent, former President Donald Trump, and pro-life legislation for the tragic death of the young mother. But contrary to what the U.S. mainstream media are saying, Amber Nicole Thurman obtained legal abortion pills in North Carolina without an ultrasound, a requirement that was eliminated. After experiencing complications upon returning to Georgia, she developed sepsis, but tragically died before doctors could perform a necessary procedure to remove remaining fetal tissues. Now, the abortion pill killed not only the unborn life, but also the life of the mother. But here's how the media spun the story. Have a watch.
2 years ago, 28-year-old Amber Nicole Thurman, a medical assistant and a single mother to a 6-year-old boy, found out she was pregnant. Amber had just secured her own apartment and was thinking about going to nursing school. She made the decision to terminate her pregnancy. A strict abortion ban had recently taken place in her home state of Georgia, which caused Amber to travel to North Carolina for the procedure. Traffic made her miss the appointment, so the clinic gave her medication, what are known as abortion pills. Once back home, Amber experienced profuse bleeding, vomiting, severe pain. She eventually passed out. Her boyfriend called for an ambulance. At the Georgia hospital, Amber's condition deteriorated quickly. In a rare occurrence, it was discovered her body had not expelled all the fetal tissue and an infection was spreading. Official Georgia State medical expert analysis of her case says Amber should have received a life-saving D&C, but doctors waited 20 hours before deciding to take her to surgery. Amber's blood pressure had taken a dive. Her organs had started failing. In the operating room, her heart stopped.
The tragic death of Ms. Thurman and her unborn child highlights the significant failures of loosening safety regulations for abortion pills. The politicization of her death by the pro-abortion lobby and the US mainstream media minimizes the real issue at play, like the dangers posed by abortion. And here in New Zealand, the risk is just as great. There is a big push for medical abortions with phone consultations and telemedicine, abortions done at home, DIY abortions. The blue line is early medical abortions and the orange line is surgical abortions. And according to the Abortion Services Aotearoa New Zealand report last year, and covering abortions up to the end of 2022, 221 women suffered complications including hemorrhaging, retained products, infections, and even failed abortions, up from 161 the previous year, an almost 40% increase. And this risk was greater with medical abortions. 60% of complications were with medical abortions. So when you hear that abortion is safe, it's not. It's not always safe for the mother, and it's definitely not safe for the baby. And on that note, a more positive note, I'll be on parenting leave for the next 6 months as my husband Jake and I welcome our first child. Yes, I am due in around 3 weeks. I look forward to rejoining PulsePoint team and the Family First next year. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be leaving the program in good hands.